Hey there, drunkards. I'm Rob with Guys, Games, and Beer, and I'm with...
I'm Larry with Guys, Games, and Beer, and with...
I'm Mel with Guys, Games, and Beer, and we are here with...
Hey, I'm Dave. I'm not with Guys, Games, or Beer, but I'm with Paverson Games, and I'm drinking a beer, and I'm a guy, so maybe I am part
2 out of 3 ain't bad, baby.
Yeah, all right.
Yep.
Oh, you also play games?
wait a minute, you have a game!
One of
Can I
us.
be?
One
One
of
of
us.
us, exactly.
And what is your game?
My game is Distilled. So it's a spirited strategy game. It's not about beer, it's not about wine. It's actually the first game ever about crafting alcoholic spirits in a distillery. So whiskey, gin, vodka, 15 different liquors you can make in the game. And drinking, of course, is an option.
Just
Okay.
out of curious, so I have played a beer version of this style game. I don't know if that was any inspirational sister.
Totally. So there's a really great game about crafting beer called Brew Crafters. That's probably the one you're thinking of. It's a worker placement game. Of course, many people know Viticulture. Awesome game about making wine, also worker placement. am a big fan of both of those and the designers. When I decided to make a game about crafting whiskey and other things, I wanted to make sure it was not a worker placement, so that it kind of stood on its own as its own unique experience. So it's actually all card-based. It started out as a deck builder. It's no longer really a deck builder, but there's still a little bit of that in it too.
How many things can you distill?
You can distill 15 different spirits. So when I came up with the game first, it was going to be just about making whiskey because I'm a big fan of whiskey. But as I was doing the research, I discovered that whiskey is something we all enjoy and know, but around the world it is not as popular as drinks like baijiu or soju. So spirits from all around the world are in the game, so that hopefully people will learn a little bit about them too.
Where are you guys out of?
Menominee, Wisconsin, near the Twin Cities.
So, brandy?
Oh, of course, you can make brandy in the game.
Oh, good.
Don't,
Oh,
you
okay.
kidding me,
All right,
man?
all
Of
right,
course.
all right.
Yeah, you
Because
can
I
make
know
brandy.
that's
You
one
can
of those
make
that's
brandy.
not super popular, even in the United States.
yeah.
But in Wisconsin.
It's actually Wisconsin. If you're ordering an old fashioned without brandy in Wisconsin, you're telling everybody that you're probably from not around here. But brandy is surprisingly extremely popular around the world, mostly in believe it or not, India. They produce a lot of brandy in India, as well as over in kind of the east, like Philippines and other areas too.
Did you learn a lot about... I'm sorry, Rob, you have a question. Go first.
Oh, I was going to start on the game itself. How many players?
Up to 5 players, 1 to 5 players. So there's a full solo mode as well, and it's about half an hour per player when you're playing with a group. So.
Okay. So we got the time. That's good.
I actually, so when we were doing a little bit of demo and I was asking some questions, we went through the solo mode, and I thought that was really thought out. You know, like sometimes solo modes tend to feel kind of tacked on.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is how we can mush a solo mode into this, but it felt like this was designed as a solo mode. And so, what kind of element how does that work?
Yeah, good question. So the game, because it's one would say it's a Euro game. I mean, it's got some resource management, it's got some recipe fulfillment, a little bit of tableau building, and then one part, the main mechanic that is kind of unique just to Distilled and nothing else that I'm aware of, is this mitigate/push your luck mechanism where you're pulling cards out, hoping to make the right recipe, but not sure you will or not. The solo mode, though, lays on top of the whole thing. So because of it being a Euro, there's not massive amounts of take that or player interaction like you might find in other games. And so the solo mode laying on top is perfect, but then what it essentially is, it was designed by a gentleman named David Digby. He's in the UK. He's an award-winning solo game designer. And he essentially took the game and said, how about we create a series of goals where you form this deck, this solo deck, and you form the shape of a barrel with all these cards. And you're trying to work your way from the bottom of the barrel to the top over the course of the game, trying to achieve these different goals. Well, what that means is with over 40 different solo cards, and you're only going to play with about 20 of them, and you're never going to use all of them, you can play that game 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 times without even seeing every single card from the solo deck. So it's also really replayable too.
So how many cards are in the deck then?
In the solo deck, 43, but in the entire game, it comes with over 400 cards.
Holy crap, that's a lot of cards.
So it's a massive
Well,
game.
a lot of those cards are like ingredients.
Yeah. Ingredients, bottles. So your favorite liquor bottle probably is in the game. not the brand, but a simulation of that. Unique barrels, ingredients, upgrades to build your engine in your distillery as well, hiring people to work in your distillery. So lots of different cards out on the table that you're buying from for the market, but also things like alcohol and yeast and water, so different ingredients that you would need to make the game, or make it a spirit.
What's the run time?
About half an hour per player.
Per player. So,
Per player.
so you have 5.
So we're looking probably, for
Couple
the
hours.
first time, I would say for the first time, if it's 5 players that never played before, it's probably going to run 2.5 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
But as you get better, it's going to be quicker. And one thing I will say is, because we designed this knowing the Kickstarter was phenomenal success that we did not imagine would happen at such a big amount we raised. And we had a lot of people that love whiskey, but maybe don't play many games, right? Well, what we wanted to design was some sort of experience for those people so that they're not kind of just completely turned off by this massive game that they get delivered. So we created something called the First Taste. It's a separate rule book that comes with the game that walks you through the whole first round and tells you what to do and teaches you the game as you play. For that reason, so we might have some new players that are playing that need to learn how to play the game. It's
That's
all
very
daunting.
helpful.
It's
you
like
know?
the basic set for D&D.
Yeah, exactly.
So you had Kickstarter's done, so it's just out there and available now.
Not yet. So, Kickstarter finished July of 2021. Raised over $500,000 on Kickstarter. And
Oh wait, I gotta. Did what were some of your rewards? I'm just curious because, well, it's a whiskey-based or spirits-based game, so.
I wanted to be able to say like free bottle of whiskey with your. Couldn't do that. So some of our more fun rewards for drinking, everybody got a shot glass. Every single backer got a shot glass, so they'll get that with their game. And then beyond that, we did things like we allowed players to choose the different flavors that are in the game. For when you age a spirit, it gets flavors. So they got to choose some fun and vote on some fun flavors too. So.
All right, who picked manure?
Oh, you saw it. Manure is one of the flavors, folks. You'd be surprised. Sometimes people say, "Oh, barn, it's got a barnyard." Well, what they're really saying is manure. So, yeah.
Someday that is going to happen to us. We're going to get like a manure flavored beer.
Exactly.
God
It's
damn it.
got a lot of umami.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's what we call it now.
Anyway.
Oh, it's classy now.
I kind of distracted you. You finished the Kickstarter,
Oh, yeah.
and where's it at now?
Yeah, where are we going? So, July 2021 finished. We are right now, as we speak, manufacturing the game in the factory. So we are hoping for sometime delivered to Kickstarter backers in January. Here at Gamehole Con, people are getting to play it. They're also getting to pre-order it, and they will actually get it the same time as Kickstarter backers
wow.
as well.
Okay.
And then it comes to retail a little bit. After that, it's going to hit retail shelves probably late February, early March, about a month and a half after the Kickstarter backers get it.
Well, the whole packaging is just beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, thank
really
you.
well laid out.
Thank you. We really we decided truly, no pun intended, well, okay, it was, top shelf experience for this. So the box is everything with deluxe components.
It's really pretty.
Game trays comes in the box, so even if you buy it at retail, you're going to get game trays, 5 layers of game trays in the box too. So.
Crown Royal, not Thompson.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, if only it came in a velvet bag. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that could be a future add-on.
You know what is funny about so I noticed when in the packaging, one of the packages that holds all the many little pieces looks like a barrel too.
Yep.
So it's like, do you sit around and go, no, and then is that that would probably be a custom package.
Yeah. So
So
that.
it's like, do you spend the money on the custom
I
package?
do.
You know?
I do. We really went all out for this, for every single component, trying to make it feel dedicated specifically for that. So barrel-shaped trays. To the color is kind of a golden color. The cubes, even in the recipe cubes, could have been simple. I don't know, just like simple yellow, gray cubes, but instead they've got a metallic glisten to them, so they're all kind of sparkled gold and
kind of
silver.
copper, gold,
Yeah,
silver
exactly,
is what I saw.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Trying to really make sure that everything you're playing with in the game feels at that top shelf quality.
So you have 15 recipes,
15 recipes,
international in scope.
all across the world.
Any future expansions? Like
Ah.
anything you didn't include that you're looking forward to.
Yeah,
really.
so a couple things. So one expansion that we did include with Kickstarter backers but is not coming to retail for a little bit longer is actually a fourth region, because right now there's Asia and Oceania, there's Europe, and there's America. So Africa and the Middle East is a completely separate region. New spirits, new distillers, because you play as different distillers in the game too. So that's going to be one. We're also really excited. We're working on a new mini expansion that'll be essentially a deck of cards to take this from a 3.0 on the BGG scale, so like a medium weight, to a little bit more strategic, a little bit more heavy, and that's going to be called Cask Strength, and that'll be a mini expansion that you enter into the game too.
Cool.
So was it when you were starting to think about this idea and starting to think about even doing a game, did you specifically want to avoid the sort of screw your neighbor elements, or because you could, I know that you need water, I'm going to buy those off the market so that you can't have those.
No, that's a really good question. So the whole screw your neighbor did exist in the original game. Okay. I could play cards and it would do something to you. Wow. And I just, over the course of the development of the game, it took a couple years after lots of play testing, I realized that wasn't necessarily a crucial part of the game, nor fun for some people, right? Yeah. I do have hopes that maybe someday in an expansion, another type of expansion can come out that does have a little bit more of that interaction, but I really wanted to shoot for something that felt a little bit more
Distilled
Euro.
After dark.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Fists are coming out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, drunk edition.
I'm buying all the wheats available in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this your first run at a game?
It's my first run at a published board game. So I've made video games before. I teach game design at a university in Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin Stout.
Nice.
And so I have that background there, but this is really the first time as far as publishing a game, forming my own company around this.
Wow.
But the exciting thing is this kind of opens up doors to be able to think about future products as well, future games too.
Pretty aggressive first run.
Yeah, well, that's how I do things. Everyone usually says, like, Dave Beck, when he does it kind of 150%. So I'm doing it too.
Suggestions for first-time Kickstarters.
Oh, man. Okay, so don't do what I did.
Every time.
Yeah. So the reason I say that, and I don't know, if I could go back, I'd do the same thing. I would maybe make a couple tweaks here and there. But the thing I've realized is that, and I've heard this from other people too, if at all possible, if you've got a couple games swimming around your head and you know you want to try this, choose your smallest game. Choose your smallest, and I mean like a deck of cards or a small box game before you go big, because it is everything. Everything is multiplied the larger it gets. Options that could end up costing you more money, errors that might be made, manufacturing misprints or other things. So just think about something starting small, keeping it small. I like to say that Distilled, in its current version, is about a game and a half, because I wanted to, people would say, add this, yeah, let's do it. And it does make it a fantastic game.
Yeah.
But from a business perspective, I'm selling everyone a game and a half's worth of game, which I probably could have said, no, let's sell them a little bit less and then push this out in another expansion, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't. I decided to just say, let's put this whole thing together. So things like that, we're just starting smaller, understanding that more will come, and you'll learn from those mistakes.
You have that vision of a whole experience, and
Exactly.
when you see it, even though it's a game and a half, you got to give that.
I know,
Well,
I did, yeah.
I could really see so just to get the game is a certain price point if it's a bigger thing. And then if you're going to do rewards, those numbers are going to be up. So you're talking, now my second reward level is at like 150 and my third one is at 500. And it's like, how many people are going to jump into the unknown at that price point?
Yeah.
No, and that's the issue, is that because we did so well, which was awesome, we kept opening up things that if we had not done so well, I could not have said game trays in the box, but I did. And because I chose to not make a deluxe version and a retail version, a lot of times you'll see that on Kickstarter.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't really like that, because what that means is that some people might miss out on what that full experience is supposed to be. And so what that meant was, every game you buy is going to have game trays, which means it's going to be more expensive, which means that I'm maybe missing out on a group that would say, well, I'm okay spending $40 on a game, but I don't know about which mine's going to be $90 when it hits retail. So because of the expense and the size of the game, right?
Yeah, that's the way it felt like.
Yeah.
I have a game theory. When you go into a game shop, any game shop, walk in, you could pick up the box, never look at the price, and feel the weight of the box and almost guess the price.
I think that's actually kind of genius. I almost wonder if that could totally be kind of like a game show or you all could do that at the end of every show where like you put a blindfold on Larry, and Larry has like 3 boxes in front of him and he has to pick it up and like guess how much.
Welcome to Games by the Pound.
Yeah, exactly. Games by the pound.
That's a whole new game.
That is
shop.
true, though.
It's interesting. It might that might actually really work, and it makes sense. Inflation right now.
Now
the
you might
cost
have
to
messed
buy
that up
paper.
because you're offering a game and a half. So.
I know. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just a little
I
heavy.
want you to try. Yeah.
It's a $100 game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
They ship bricks in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you shouted out where people can find this?
Please shout out where we can
They want
find
to get
you.
in now.
Oh
They
yeah.
want to do it.
Okay.
They wanna do it.
So
Do
here's
it again at the end.
if you happen to be watching this, a couple places you can look. You can look at paversongames.com. That'll take you a website that you can still pre-order it for a little bit longer. Retail across the country is
Wait
already.
a minute. How much longer? Because that will determine how fast we will sometimes change orders.
Okay. So pre-orders are available through the end of November.
Okay.
Okay. So you can go onto my site and pre-order then. Otherwise, you're going to be able to find it in your friendly local game store. They're going to be offered all across the country. Obviously, in Wisconsin, we're going to have quite a lot. In my area, Games by James is one that has a lot of stores. They've pre-ordered a ton of the games. So please ask your friendly local game store for sure to ask to order this. They can do that. And then it also will be available on my website as well, too.
Probably at Noble Games, which is a sponsor of GameholeCon.
Wow, nice shout out there, Larry.
Well done, well done.
All right, Rob, why don't you wrap this up?
All right, and real quick, MSRP on the game.
MSRP is going to be $89.99.
$89.99, and your website?
PaversonGames.com.
Yep, because I'm almost sure we missed that. I'm almost sure, unless I just zoned, which
Wait,
does
should we
happen.
do it again just in case?
What was that again?
PaversonGames.com.
Way to go. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back with